Hi everybody, it's me, Corey T, and I'm very excited to introduce to you one of my clients. This is Petra, who is all the way in New Zealand. Right now it's 8:30 in the morning over there and it's 7:30 in the evening over here. So I'm so grateful that you're up so early to do this. I really wanted to introduce you guys to Petra because she's had such a turnaround of events when it comes to love in her life. And we did 8 sessions together over a couple of months, over a few months. And things are literally like night and day compared to when we met. So, do you want to share where we started at the beginning and how you felt and what brought you to coaching in the first place?
So I think we started maybe in July or something like that,
Yeah,
over 6 months ago. And I started the coaching because I felt like I was hitting the wall. I felt like that I really wanted to manifest a specific person, but I just felt that I didn't know what to do anymore, that before I tried everything and nothing seemed to be working.
yeah,
And I just really needed somebody to show me my blind spots, because I felt like that I knew everything from all the YouTube videos, but nothing was really happening.
yeah.
And so I really needed some help.
Yeah, and I
And
remember you were in such a low place. You were, the specific person situation, he wasn't treating you very well, and you had this narrative in your mind
mhm,
of just relationships don't work for me and it doesn't work and things don't change. And it felt really strong, like you really, really believed that at the time.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
it seemed to go on for quite a while, didn't it? The sort of back and forth between him and you and waiting and what's going to happen and feeling anxious. Remember how anxious
Mhm.
you were
Yeah.
feeling about
Yeah.
him in particular. And then what happened then? What do you think actually happened? Do you think there was a turning point or something that shifted?
Yeah, I think for a year I was just heavily focused on him and what he was doing. And every time when I supposed to meet him, I was very anxious. It was like I had him on the pedestal, and I thought that he was something better than me, and just thought that I didn't have much value, and
Yeah,
I was carrying this, energy of not being chosen and not being good enough, or that's how I saw myself back then.
yeah,
And the turning point was that um actually I thought I like never wanted to give up on this person, but it somehow I met somebody else, and because I just decided that I deserve better than this anyway,
yeah,
that I would like to meet somebody who would just treat me right from the start,
yeah.
because I felt like that there was too much history, and that I just, I wasn't able to change it. I wasn't able to rewrite it. So I just somehow decided that either this person or something better.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
So you let go and you did a lot of, I think you had a lot of conversations and we had a lot of conversations about, self-love and changing the narrative about what you deserve. So I think I remember having a conversation with you about like what you expect, what you'd like to experience in a relationship. And when you lean into those conversations, you feel very different and you feel like, oh yeah, that's what I want. And then that will either, I mean, like for you, what you found was that you were choosing for you what was best, and swimming upstream with that old narrative felt really difficult, and so you chose an easier path, a path of least resistance, as lots of people call it. path of least resistance led you to welcoming in a new person. Oh my God, everyone, this new person is like the photos. I posted a post, didn't I, recently about the trip that that he took you on recently. Where was it? Tahiti. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah. We went to Tahiti together, and that was my dream destination for quite some time
Yeah.
because I always wanted to go there, and it's so isolated, especially if you are from Europe. But since I've been in New Zealand, it's easier to go there. But still, I saw it as like dream destination, and so I had it in my mind for a long time. And then I would have never thought that the new man which I just met would take me on the vacation there.
Yeah.
And it was quite hard for me to actually accept it that this is happening to me, because to
Yeah.
that point I never had men taking me on a vacation, and I think
Yeah.
I didn't want to believe it at first. I didn't
Yeah.
wanted to receive it
That's the
basically.
thing. That's the, you know what? That is so common. And it's exactly the same thing that happened with me. When you've had a narrative for such a long time about relationships and you've believed that it always goes a certain way, and then someone shows up differently because you've been sort of thinking different thoughts and feeling different feelings and looking at new possibility, seeing that another possibility exists for you. And then actually it comes in because the universe goes, oh, okay, we're going to give you the opportunity to go into this, to lean into it. And your nervous system is a bit like, huh? Huh? Are you sure? And that is, that's a it's just a journey. It's just a journey. And like quite often people think that they need to be healed and they need to be ready and they need to, be ready to welcome it in. But actually the process of being with someone, even when you're not healed, helps you to learn to build up the capacity to receive love, you know?
Yeah.
And obviously at the same time you've been working on your self-love.
Mhm.
And I wanted to talk about there was one turning point where something, because quite often bad things happen, in these journeys. Like we get really hurt by something or we get a shock about something. And at the time it can seem like a really bad thing. And I remember there was a specific moment of one session that we had where you'd
Mhm.
had a really bad time with, was it someone else? There was someone else who you'd gone on a,
Yeah, yeah. Hmm.
and
I went on a skiing trip with the basically man I was involved with for like 2 years, but I didn't see him for 1 year before we went together on the trip. And we never had like, I never felt chosen with him. I was never treated the right way. And we basically ended up fighting and me being attacked by him. But I left the place
yeah,
and I decided that enough was enough, that I don't want to go through this anymore. And I just blocked him on everything, which still, I was never able to not speak to him completely and
yeah,
cut him off completely. But I just decided that, this person is not wanting to change and I deserve better. And I think that was a turning point for me. That's where I just, decided that I don't want to go through this anymore. And from now on, I just want to give energy to a man who treat me right and who just respect me. And, I was scared to do this, to cut him off completely.
mm,
But I just knew that it would be hard. And yeah, I wanted to take it day by day. And I'm glad I did it, because I think I just made space for something new to come. And yeah, what I didn't know that it would be that amazing. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
No, that I think in your journey went from all the calls that we had. I remember that call in particular with you being so shaken up by that
Mhm.
trip. And I remember thinking, no more. That's it. She's not gonna that she won't go there again. I remember thinking that. Oh gosh, it makes me quite emotional thinking about it because you were
Yeah.
so you were really, really, you know, that was a bit, it shocked your nervous system, a bit of your journey where
Mhm.
you decided, I'm not doing that again. And, you know, the message in that for anyone listening, and I'm not saying that, you know, bad things have to happen, but sometimes these things do happen. And they can be your absolute massive catalyst for such amazing, beautiful transformation. If you can look at it that way, like you did, you know, you didn't allow yourself to be a victim in that situation, although, you know, it was horrible what you went through, and no one should ever go through that. But you you turned it around into being such a positive thing for yourself. And it was quite, I mean, it was quickly after that that this new person came in, wasn't it? And just showed up in a whole
Mhm.
new way, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
Maybe
so
like
go on, sorry.
3 weeks after that, I
Ah,
yeah went on a first date with him, and although I was still a bit shocked, I felt like that I just wanted to experience something different,
mm,
something new, and yeah, I think I finally opened up for good treatment,
yeah,
and
yeah. No,
mm,
it's amazing. And then the other thing that happened was that you were really anxious about your visa, weren't you? Your visa,
mhm.
you know, renewing your visa, and there was a lot of anxiety about, you know, what will happen? Will I have to leave? What will this mean for the relationship? And you've just told me what happened, which I think is an amazing sort of testament to letting go. So do you want to tell everyone what happened?
So um, the my boyfriend now lives 2 hours away, and I live in quite isolated place in New Zealand. So I was, when I was waiting long time for my visa, and I was really anxious about that. And I was like, well, what if this doesn't work out? What that will mean for me? And for the relationship, I was scared that maybe I would have to leave the country and we would not be able to be together. Or, I was anxious that I would lose the new relationship. And actually I didn't get my visa. And the first day I was a bit paralyzed, I think. I was anxious about the future.
Mm,
But maybe a couple of days after that, I realized that this might be blessing in disguise, that we don't really know why certain things are happening, but now I'm so happy about that it didn't work out, and I have another options in the country which I didn't know I had. And yeah, we are moving in together with my boyfriend, and we are going to most probably have partnership visa.
oh,
And
wow.
the thing is that before I didn't even know that I didn't like, you know, I didn't want to accept that some man would be willing to go through this with me to do, because there's quite a few things you have to do. But he's so, he's just getting everything ready for me to have it. And I don't, I can just like accept it and let him do, all the documents and everything. And yeah, I'm very, so surprised that this is actually happening to me. And yeah, I'm learning how to make this my new normal, that yes,
Yeah.
this is what I deserve. And of course I have doubts, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to what
A whole new
will happen
chapter.
next.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, a whole
new chapter.
new.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like I said at the beginning, it's such night and day. You know, at the beginning of when we met, it was like relationships don't work for me. And now, you know, not very long later, you know, this is how quickly things can change. Like how much it, because, you know, just to sort of make it really clear, you were so believing relationships don't work for me. And now you are having a partner visa and moving in with your partner who is taking you on all these amazing holidays.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I like 6 months ago, if somebody told me this, I would have not believed them, most probably.
Yeah.
That I can go from being like kind of desperate and always feeling like not chosen and rejected to being loved and getting all these amazing things.
Mm. Yeah. So what would
Yeah.
you say? So people watching might have questions like, what did you do? Did you do affirmations? Did you, what kind of what do you think you did? And I always think this is a really interesting question to ask because I bet you don't really know for sure what it was, but there's lots of things, isn't
Yeah.
it? So what would you say if someone's asking you, how did you transform this?
I didn't actually do any of the manifestation technique, how people talk about that you should affirm and visualize. I think what actually really worked for me on the deep level was that when I decided that I don't want to entertain any, relationship which didn't serve me anymore.
Yeah.
And I just did that was my decision. And, I knew it like inside of my being that, yes, okay, so now I'm deciding to create something new. And I think that was the biggest breakthrough what I had.
Yeah.
And I think that if
Embodiment.
people want to, yeah, yeah, that I actually really embody that version of me.
Yeah.
And I wasn't trying to, so hard to manifest anything. And I actually think that if people try so hard that they are blocking everything what's available to them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
This is like, I hope that people watch, my content and hear your story and can see a healthier way of manifesting, which is really just being who you actually are, and like embodying someone who believes that you are worthy and that you're deserving. And lots of people know that, you know that cognitively, but the way that we show up in life sometimes is a fear-based reaction, because of maybe trauma or past experiences and just a stuckness in an old narrative. And you broke your narrative, that narrative. And I love saying this, but that narrative that you had was a
Mhm.
part of your life that's gone,
Yeah.
you know it was a small part of your life, of a long life left yet to live, and now you've changed it, so now you have more evidence. And this is the beautiful thing about narrative transformation stuff, is that you can do that at any point. We get to choose at any point what the new narrative is, and sometimes it really does take, like, I also think that sometimes people might be watching this and they might think, okay, how do I do that? I want to do that. And I do think that you can't put pressure on yourself to be where you're not. Like before you were ready to have that shift, you couldn't do it before you were ready. And then you were ready, and that all happened perfectly, exactly as it was supposed to. But I think you set out, by going to coaching and by investing in that, and probably doing other things that you were doing for yourself, you set the intention, something has to change, something has to change. I've got to evolve from this. And when you set that intention, it's very powerful. And then you took action. That's the thing, it's not just all in your head. You actually did something about it, and you embodied a different thing. So
Mhm.
yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool, such a cool
Absolutely.
story. Awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that I was just after I decided, I was just taking actions as the new version of me, but I didn't, I wasn't focusing on, okay, now if I was a new version of me, I would do this. No,
Mm,
I think I just did it naturally because I just decided to the bottom of my being that I'm a new person now, and
yeah.
then everything was flowing.
Yeah, exactly. It was easy. That's why people say that manifestation can be easy. It's just very difficult to get there when you're in your head, when you're very attached to that happening. But you had that amazing shift that everyone can have and everyone will have. If you're watching this, you're going to have that shift too. You know, when you go, no, this is my new decision. This is my new way of being. I'm going to show up like this right now. And if you're not having that right now, just set the intention that that's going to happen, because it will. It will just happen as and when it's supposed to. But what you can do, like you did, is commit to the process, the learning, giving yourself the information so that your mind can expand and you can have the opportunities presented to you for you to embody something new. Yeah, it's really cool. It's an amazing story. And thank you so much well, thanks so much for trusting me. I hope you enjoyed your coaching with me. I've really enjoyed getting to know you and seeing everything change so much. And yeah, if anybody has any questions, I guess you can ask them in the comments, and then maybe I could ask you and then you can reply and I'll reply or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah. Is there anything else you would like to say?
Yeah, I would like to say that people are so focused on one specific person as I was, but I'm so glad that it didn't actually work out with the specific person I was so, involved with for like 2 years. And I think like what I'm getting now, my original person would never be able to give to me.
Yeah.
So, I think people, they should just open up to something new, and they would be surprised how what everything they can actually receive
Yeah.
if they just don't focus on one specific way how it can come to their lives.
Yeah, that's it. That's the thing about letting go. Your like story is a real testament to letting go, because I know what it's like to be really attached to one specific person. Everybody knows my story. And yes, me and my partner are still together, but that doesn't mean that that's that's the only situation that could have ever happened. It could have easily been something else. It's what you choose and what you decide to do that is okay. Whatever you decide to do is okay. There's no failure. And I think that's part of the problem, is that people get into the manifesting community and then they end up feeling like a failure if they didn't manifest their specific person, or it goes wrong. It never goes wrong. It just goes to a different direction. And we don't want to have that narrative of it ever being a failure. There's no wrong decision. You either decide to focus on a specific person, or you decide to focus on something else, or someone else, whatever feels right at the time. And it's not that you did it right or wrong or whatever. It's just that you felt like it was easier for you to focus on something else and let go. And that felt right. Whereas for someone else, I suppose it's not easier, to let go and to focus on someone else. But it is what it is. And there's no right or wrong. So yeah, I hope that, someone hears your story and thinks, yeah, maybe it is okay for me to stop struggling so much. Maybe it is okay for me to let go. Maybe I can trust that something amazing is going to happen if I do that. And maybe I am just as a success and just as happy on the other side of that. So yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much for doing this video. And also I just want to say as well that this is the first time Petra's ever done a video like in public like this, and that's just another testament to how much more confident you are in yourself. So thank you for that as well.
Thank you.
And yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.